The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Section 1. Awareness is Power. In this section, the author focuses on the importance of awareness and how it can transform people's lives. Tolle argues that most of humanity lives in a distorted state of consciousness, trapped in thoughts and emotions from the past or worries about the future, resulting in a constant feeling of anxiety, unhappiness and dissatisfaction. However, Tolle argues that present moment awareness is the key to freeing oneself from this distorted state and achieving a more fulfilling and satisfying life. Present moment awareness is a state in which one is completely aware and present in the current moment, instead of being trapped in past or future thoughts and emotions. Tolle explains that present moment awareness is the real power that we have to transform our lives and our perception of the world. By being completely present in the current moment, we can free ourselves from negative emotions and thoughts and experience a sense of peace and happiness that is unshakable. Furthermore, Tolle argues that present moment awareness is the key to reaching a state of elevated consciousness, where one connects with a source of wisdom and knowledge that is beyond the individual mind. This state of elevated consciousness is the foundation for a life full of purpose, love and happiness. In summary, in this section of the book, the author highlights the importance of present moment awareness as a powerful tool for transforming people's lives. By being completely present in the current moment, we can free ourselves from anxiety, unhappiness, and dissatisfaction and achieve a state of peace, love and happiness. Present moment awareness is the real power that we have to transform our lives and our perception of the world. Now we will see the subsections of this first section. Section 1. Subsection A. The importance of present awareness. In subsection A of the first section of the book, the importance of being present and aware in the current moment is emphasized to live a full and suffering-free life. The author argues that most people live in a state of distracted and absent mind, focusing on the past or the future, which prevents them from experiencing reality in the present moment. According to Tolle, this lack of present awareness creates a sense of separation and anxiety as the mind is constantly worried about future events or reminiscing about the past. This lack of mental presence also leads to identification with negative thoughts and emotions, which in turn leads to a life full of suffering. The author suggests that by being conscious and present in the current moment, we can experience a sense of peace and happiness, and also improve our ability to handle problems and challenges effectively. By being present, we can see situations clearly and respond appropriately rather than react impulsively. Furthermore, Tolle argues that present awareness also allows us to have a wider and more comprehensive perspective on life. By being present, we can appreciate the beauty and richness of life instead of focusing on negative thoughts and worries. This allows us to live a fuller and more fulfilling life. In conclusion, this subsection highlights the importance of being conscious and present in the current moment to live a full and suffering-free life. This awareness allows us to effectively handle life's challenges, have a wider and more comprehensive perspective on life, and experience a sense of peace and happiness. Section 1. Subsection B. Identification with the mind and ego. In subsection B of the first section of the book, the idea of identification with the mind and ego is addressed. Tolle argues that most people are constantly identified with their thoughts and emotions, which prevents them from experiencing reality as it is. This process of identification, in turn, leads to a feeling of separation and the creation of an ego or a fictitious identity that is considered real. The ego is a mental construct that is based on the past and future and is formed by a set of thoughts, beliefs, and memories that make up a limited and distorted idea of oneself. The ego considers itself the center of the universe and tries to control and manipulate the outside world to satisfy its needs and desires. This can result in a feeling of dissatisfaction, anxiety, fear, and loneliness. Tolle argues that the identification with the mind and ego is the root of many human problems, including unhappiness, insecurity, emotional dependence, and dissatisfaction. The solution to these problems, according to Tolle, is to free oneself from the identification with the mind and ego and discover present awareness. Present awareness is a state of being in which one is fully present in the present moment, without being distracted by thoughts or emotions. Tolle offers several practical exercises to help free oneself from the identification with the mind and ego. For example, he suggests paying attention to thoughts and emotions and seeing them as simple transitory phenomena, instead of identifying with them. He also suggests focusing on sensory experience instead of thoughts and emotions, and practicing observing thoughts and emotions instead of reacting to them. In conclusion, this subsection is a deep exploration of the identification with the mind and ego and how it can affect a person's life. Tolle argues that the identification with the mind and ego is one of the roots of many human problems and suggests freeing oneself from it through present awareness and the practice of specific exercises. Section 1. Subsection C. The release of compulsive thinking. The C subsection of the first section of the book deals with the release of compulsive thinking. Tolle addresses the problem of the human mind that is constantly occupied and distracted by negative thoughts and emotions and how this can negatively affect a person's life. Tolle explains that most people are trapped in a spiral of negative thoughts and are not aware of it. These thoughts become a habit and can lead to a feeling of anxiety, stress, and sadness. Additionally, identification with the mind and the ego can create a feeling of separation and isolation. To be released from compulsive thinking, Tolle suggests that people should take a pause and be aware of their thoughts and emotions. It is important to note that these thoughts and emotions are not reality and do not represent the truth about oneself. Instead, Tolle encourages people to focus on the present moment and live in the now. Tolle also presents several practical exercises to help release compulsive thinking. These include meditation, observation of breathing, and focusing on the senses. By doing these exercises, deeper awareness can be achieved and a sense of peace and calm can be found. Additionally, Tolle speaks about the importance of acceptance and non-judgment of oneself and others. Acceptance and compassion are key to releasing compulsive thinking and achieving a fuller and more satisfying life. In conclusion, this subsection provides a deep and practical perspective on how to release compulsive thinking and live in the present moment. With awareness and practice, anyone can be released from negative thoughts and achieve a sense of peace and happiness. Section 1. Subsection D. Acceptance of the present moment. In subsection D of the first section of the book, Tolle focuses on the importance of accepting the present moment. The author argues that most people live in a state of resistance and denial towards the present moment, which prevents them from fully living. Instead, they live in their thoughts and memories about the past or worried about the future. However, Tolle states that the acceptance of the present moment is key to liberation and inner peace. He argues that the present moment is the only reality and everything else is a construct of the mind. Therefore, accepting the present moment means abandoning resistance and denial towards reality, and embracing life as it is. Acceptance of the present moment is also related to mindfulness, a state of consciousness in which we are completely present and aware of our environment and ourselves. Tolle states that mindfulness is the path to emotional liberation and inner peace, and that through the practice of mindfulness, we can learn to accept the present moment and free ourselves from the bindings of the mind and the ego. In summary, this subsection highlights the importance of accepting the present moment as a path to emotional liberation, inner peace, and full awareness. By abandoning resistance and denial towards reality, we can fully live in the present moment and experience life in a more authentic and meaningful way. And that concludes the first section. Subscribe for the second, third, and fourth parts. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Section 2. Transforming Negativity. In this section, Tolle focuses on the transformation of negativity in our lives. The author argues that negativity, including fear, anger, and sadness, is a manifestation of the ego and can be released through present consciousness. The author states that negativity arises from identification with the mind and ego, and that most people are trapped in compulsive thoughts and patterns of negative behavior. However, through awareness of the present moment, we can free ourselves from these identifications and transform negativity in our lives. The author also highlights the importance of accepting the present moment and the importance of not resisting negative situations. Instead of resisting, the author suggests fully accepting the situation and allowing it to develop naturally. By doing so, we can release the tension and negativity associated with resistance and, in turn, experience greater peace and happiness. In this section, Tolle also explores how present consciousness can be used to transform negative patterns of thought and behavior. The author argues that by being present and conscious in the moment, we can identify and release negative thoughts and behaviors before they cause harm. In conclusion, this section of the book focuses on transforming negativity through present consciousness. The author argues that present consciousness is key to freeing ourselves from identification with the mind and ego, and to transforming negative patterns of thought and behavior. The acceptance of the present moment and and the release of resistance are also important topics that are addressed in this section, and the author offers practical strategies to help readers experience greater peace and happiness in their lives. Now we will see the subsections of this second section. Section 2, Subsection A, Releasing Negative Thoughts and Emotions. In subsection A of the second section of the book, the author focuses on explaining how to release negative thoughts and emotions that often control and prevent us from living a full and satisfying life. Tolle asserts that most people are trapped in a kind of mental trance in which their thoughts and emotions control them and prevent them from living in the present moment. The author argues that this obsession with negative thoughts and emotions not only prevents us from living in the present, but also makes us feel dissatisfied and discontent with our lives. Tolle explains that these negative thoughts and emotions arise from the ego, a part of our mind that identifies with thoughts, emotions, and beliefs and constantly seeks satisfaction and validation. To release these negative thoughts and emotions, Tolle suggests that we must be aware of them when they arise and not identify with them. Instead, we should focus on the present moment and the direct perception of our senses. According to Tolle, this present awareness is the only way to release negative thoughts and emotions and find peace and happiness. In addition, Tolle also talks about how negativity can be transformed into something positive if it is attended to and observed with a non-judgmental attitude. Instead of resisting negative thoughts and emotions, Tolle suggests that we should accept them and simply allow them to exist without identifying with them. In conclusion, in this subsection Tolle provides a guide to freeing oneself from the obsession with negative thoughts and emotions and living in the present moment. By focusing on present awareness and not identifying with negative thoughts and emotions, we can find peace and happiness and transform negativity into something positive. Section 2, Subsection B, The Pursuit of Happiness and Personal Transformation. Subsection B of the second section of the book focuses on how most people seek happiness in the future or past, but never in the present moment. Tolle explains that the pursuit of happiness through obtaining things, achievements, or relationships is insufficient and can actually lead to greater dissatisfaction. Instead, true happiness is found in awareness of the present moment and acceptance of what is. Tolle also discusses how identification with the mind and ego can be an obstacle in the pursuit of happiness. The mind can have negative and limiting thoughts about ourselves and life, leading to anxiety, sadness, and dissatisfaction. The author suggests freeing oneself from identification with the mind and ego and accepting and observing negative thoughts and emotions instead of identifying with them. The author also highlights the importance of personal transformation in the pursuit of happiness. Personal transformation is not about changing who you are, but about freeing yourself from the limitations imposed by the mind and ego and achieving a deeper and higher state of awareness. Personal transformation is achieved through the practice of present awareness and acceptance of present moments. In summary, this subsection addresses the idea that true happiness is not found in the future or past, but in the present moment. Identification with the mind and ego can be an obstacle in the pursuit of happiness, but freeing oneself from this identification and personal transformation can help achieve a deeper and more lasting state of happiness. The key to personal transformation and happiness is awareness of the present moment and acceptance of what is. And that concludes the second section. Subscribe for the third and fourth parts.